right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday workshop. My name is Jim Schultens, Systems Engineer over here at Verify. I'll be your host for today's workshop. We're joined by my good friend, Dre Devats. How's it going today, Dre?
Going well, Jim. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Good,
All
good.
right. So for today's workshop, Dre is going to help us understand how to leverage CUCM configs or Verify public search sets to create user accounts and groups within Verify. We're going to start off with a quick overview of our company and what we do. Then Dre is going to talk to us about user accounts and groups using CUCM configs and public search sets. We'll pause for some Q&A, get some of your questions answered. During the demo, if you do have any questions, make sure to ask them in the Q&A panel in the bottom right of your screen. And then after Q&A, we'll reward one lucky attendee a $50 Amazon gift card. So make sure you hang around and see if you've won. All right, quick overview of Verify. Verify is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco collaboration. We provide industry-leading CDR, UCCX, and Cube Call analytics, customizable dashboards and widgets, remote phone control, and change management. But today our focus is going to be on configuring user accounts and groups. All right. For those of you looking for more hands-off Verify experience, Verify does offer a managed consulting service. This is a service that provides a dedicated Verify SE to do all the heavy lifting, giving you and your users a completely hands-off experience. We are an extension of your organization. We do upgrades, one-on-one training, report and dashboard building. Your dedicated Verify system engineer has you covered. We'll engage with your team on a one-on-one basis to provide additional consulting, unassisted reporting, dashboarding, configuration, and system monitoring assistance. So the only thing you have to do is give us a call. If you want additional information on our ECS service offering, feel free to reach out to your account manager and they'd be happy to see if ECS is right for you. And with all that said, I'm going to kick it over to my buddy Dre and lead us into the wild.
All right, everybody, hopefully you can see my screen. Should be the Verify GUI if everybody can see it there.
Yep, looks good to me.
All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Once again, my name is Dre, SE here at Verify. And like Jim said, we're going to take a look at those user accounts and groups, how they sync kind of with your CUCM and user configs, such as departments and managers. And we're also going to take a look at how to create and limit a user to a certain public search set. So let me move this out of the way. All right. So here is the Verify GUI, as you all know, and we're going to head over to those user groups and accounts section. So if we go up to the gear icon top right, we're going to hover over it, and then we're going to go under user authentication. We're going to go to user accounts and groups. Wait for this guy to load up. Starting to load up. A little slow today. All right. So as you can see here, we're in the users section now, and here's our user groups, and you can go over to user groups there. So we have some accounts in here, just some random stuff. I did make a account for today. What we're going to call is Dre Test. So one thing we do want to talk about here when it comes to, we're going to start with that CCM and user configs. This username needs to match what you have inside of the end user for Call Manager. So I know we have one called Batman here. So we have username Batman. If we go over to our Call Manager, we head over to user management end user, we have one called Batman. So what we can do from a Verify standpoint that kind of relates to your call manager end user, we can limit what visibility, restricted data visibility that person can see when running a report when they're logged in as their username. So as you can see here, we have Bruce Wayne, Batman, that's matching our Verify username here. So we know that should be matched. So right here, we have them under finance. So That's one thing. We can also have a manager. If they were a manager of that finance group or another group, then we could toggle on and off that visibility. So when a report is run, they're only going to see people in that department, the department that they manage, or just their own information, their own phone calls, their own, analytics that they can get. So let's go take a look over here and verify. Like I said, I made one. We're just going to take a look how we can actually set that up. So let's go into this Dre test one that we've already created. And here, the username going to match what we have in Call Manager. We could put a description, give them a time zone if you'd want. If they're using Active Directory or not, we can toggle that on and off. And we can also allow that single sign-on bypass if needed as well. We're going to have some groups here as well. So we can do this same thing as a group. So what you're kind of seeing as a user, this can be set up for a group. So if you have large groups and we want to just not have to do this for each user, you can create, let's say, a finance user group and then give them that group. So they're going to have those settings and visibility settings for the people in that group. But let's show you here how down here at the bottom, how we can actually set that up. So we don't really need to worry about these dashboards or DID privileges here. What we're going to do is we're going to add a cluster. So down here at the bottom, we're going to pick our cluster. And today we're going to be using that Colorado CUCM. You're going to press that plus button. That's going to give you this whole list of options here. Now, every time you toggle one of these on, you get more settings that you can play around with. So what we're going to be looking at today is going to be Call Analytics. So you click on Call Analytics, and it's going to bring it up more. If you wanted to give them full admin access, boom, you're done. They can do anything. But let's say you want to restrict these guys just to their own department when they run a report, so they can only see those people in that department. Well, what we're going to do here is going to click that restricted data visibility here. And here below, you got three options. View as own user, meaning they run a report, they're only going to see their phone number or their user in that report. Same with manager. If they're a manager of that department, they're going to see everything they manage. It could be multiple departments. So they could see multiple departments if they are the manager of that, and view their own department. So like we had back here, let's say Batman was going to run a report, they would only get anybody that was in the finance department. So all you gotta do is toggle these on and off. Pretty simple, but it just as long as that's set up in, if you're using local accounts to Call Manager, making sure those are set up correctly in there, or LDAP, and LDAP will sync to the Call Manager with those specified fields as well. So nothing too crazy there, pretty simple, and we'll show you here also in the grouping, or in the groups, the user groups as well. Once this guy loads up here a little bit. Perfect. So if you go over here to user group, and let's just create one for fun here. Click the create user on the top. So over here, we would call this maybe finance user or finance group. And we can give a description if we want. And then here we could select the available users that we have, put them in that group. So we should have that Dre test one here. And they're going to be in that group. Same thing. Go into the cluster privileges here. We're going to click on that Call Analytics. We're going to click on restricted data visibility, and we could say views on department. So then you could just give this group to a set of users if you have a ton of users, because it would just be kind of a pain to do this for 30 users, let's say, that might be using Verify at the time. All right. All right, let's go back and let's talk about, that's how you get everything configured up in between Verify and Call Manager there. So let's talk about another thing here today, and it's going to be our public search sets. Public search sets is a search set that you can give out that could be a restricted view, but we can use that by giving that public search set to a user where they can only see that that data visibility. So let's go talk about how to create a search set here, or a public search set. So if you're going to go up here to the top under call analytics reporting, we're going to configure, and we're going to have public search sets here. I've already made one for today, so we'll pretend we hit create search set, and we'll click on this guy here. In here, we're going to give it a name. If you're going to filter by any call duration or anything, and then we're going to give it a search set. So what we're going to do now is, you could see, is this search set we're running. I'm going to look at pretty much all calls that are happening with this number, that 2371. We're going to show you how this works first, and then we'll show you how to add this to the user or user group. So I'm going to go over to reports. I have a report already created, and I'm calling this a 23XX. So what I'm doing here is just going to search for all calls for a certain time period that is in this range. So a 2300 range to 2399. We're going to pull all that back, so then we can see what it looks like before and after. So let's go ahead and run this. And I know our data summary is a little old, so we're going to have to pick the correct time window here. And we're going to go March 1 to March 3. And what I have is on PDF, and that's totally fine. That should work totally fine for us. So let's give us a second to run. Jim, was there any questions while this is running we can answer for anybody?
Yeah, we just had a question pop up from Laura regarding the departments. When a department is chosen and verified, which you just displayed, how do you define the department, or where is that department defined? Is it pulled from end user database?
It is,
And
yeah.
call manager?
So, yeah, so this would be when you set up a new user. So if they are a local, let's say they're a local user to Call Manager. So like we're looking at Batman here. He's actually a LDAP synced user. So that would be set up in AD or LDAP, and that's where they get their department or manager ID there. If they were a local user, and I think we might actually have some local users, let's go check here. And I think it actually says, yeah, so let's just go look at employee number 1 here. Here, if they're a local user, meaning this was created inside of Call Manager, not LDAP, then we can give them, looks like we have a department here, we can change that, and a manager user ID. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's go take a look at this report. I'll zoom in just a little bit here so you can kind of see. All right, if you look at this report now, we ran that on the 23XX. So we should be seeing numbers 2320, 2323, 2314. We got numbers all over the place that are kind of showing up that have 23s in them. So what we did in Verify when we created that search set's going to show all numbers that only containing or equaling to 2371. So when we do run a report, that should only show us those 2371s. So now that we have this in mind, that you can see we have different numbers here, not just 2371s, we've got 2323s, 2314s. Let's go over to Verify. And what we're going to do is we're going to test this out. So we're going to head over to those user groups and accounts. All right, let's go over to our Dre test account. And we're going to go choose that cluster down here at the bottom, press the plus sign. We're going to click Call Analytics, and we're also going to click again that restricted data visibility use settings. So at the bottom here, you can see that we have a search set restriction. Here, we see those 2 search sets that were created within the public search set creation. So we can pick now Dre search set. So we know that search set's should only show us those 2371 numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this guy. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to log out. We're going to log in as that Dre test user. And I got to use a correct link because we are going to bypass our SSO here. Dre test password. And if I think about it, I might have not saved that just when I thought about that for a second. So give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go back to that demo box here. That didn't want to work. Let's try this again. All right, should be getting it now. That's odd. Okay, yeah, I messed that up and didn't save. I don't think I saved that configuration. Let's go look here. It might have done this like 3 times, and then the one time I got to do it live, I totally forget.
I always forget to save it too, Greg. So.
All right, let's go back to that Dre test here. Double check what we should have here. So we should have, oh, I need to see the call history. Yeah, sorry about that. So I need to do the call history search and the reporting so I can actually see the reporting side of it as well. So I can see the call history search. So now we'll save this. That should be all good. Once that saves, okay, we will try this one more time. And there we go. Okay, cool, great. So now that gave us that, we can go over to the reporting section. And we see that 23XX report that I ran earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to run this report for the same time period, which was March 1 through March 3rd. And we're going to give this a little run. Now that we set up that public search set to the user Dre test, as you can see now, only seeing numbers that are correlated to that search set, which was that specified 2371 that we had in the search set there. So a nice way to give somebody some limited visibility if that's what you're looking to do. I just as a random number I found. So, but it worked out well. This is what we're looking. So this would be the same thing if you had that user as a department or a department view. They're only going to see people in that department or their own user information. All right, we went over a little bit there, creating that public search set, how you're going to add it to the group or the user. And then we ran that report before and after just to kind of give you a viewing on how that works. Jim, do we have any more questions out there? Looks like I might be hitting my end here because.
Yeah, no other questions. Just to follow up on that first one, where did you select the department and verify? But that would be if you're using restrictions, you would, if you're looking at maybe you could show that data restrictions on that user.
Oh, give me a second here. Get back in there. This is not liking me today. All right, let's go over to those account groups here. So go ahead and repeat that question for me, Jim. I just wanted to,
Just wanted to know where, referring to the department before, where did you select it? You really don't select it if you're using restrictions. I believe, that's one of the options is view as department. Yeah, view own department, and that would be pulled from whatever
That-
department you're in call manager or AD.
correct, 100% right. So if they wanted to view it as their own department, all you do is toggle this on and we can get rid of that search set too. Yeah, and make sure that they have reporting and call history search turned on. So they can actually view those things.
All right, one more question came in from Daniel. Do you have to create each user and verify individually, or can you use an AD sync?
You still have to create the user in Verify. So let's say we had a user called Dre Test, then we would just use Active Directory, select the Active Directory we had, but you still have to create that username inside Verify.
Yeah, can't import those from AD or anything else right now.
Yeah, not yet. Maybe someday in the future, but yeah, right now these would have to be created locally inside Verify. But then you would just select that use Active Directory, so then they wouldn't have you don't have to give them a password or anything. So then they would just use their normal AD password.
Right. All right. Awesome.
And just a real quick, I was talking about the user groups earlier. You can assign users to that group. When you're inside and you have to create that user, you can actually just give them the groups from here too.
Right. All right. I don't see any more questions come in.
Okay, great.
Give me back the ball. We'll get to the good stuff.
Oh, how do I do that? Let's see. There we go. I think I'm getting there.
All right, we'll get through our Q&A. So we would like to get to the, we'll get to the winner in a second here. I'd first like to mention our online user community, Planet Verify. This is where you can connect with your peers and expand your knowledge of all things Verify. We've even got a cantina for some non-work related discussions, such as drink recipes or what you're grilling out for the weekend. So make sure to hop on over to Planet Verify, planet.verify.com or verify.com/planet. All right, now the moment everybody's been waiting for. And announce the winner of this week's $50 Amazon gift card. And that winner is Jeff Osborne. Congratulations, Jeff.
Woo!
Account manager will be reaching out to you shortly to get you that gift card. All right. And don't forget to join us next week where Matt and Mike will take a dive into the Verify application logs and show us how to use them for troubleshooting. Always a good learning experience with those two, and who knows what they've got up their sleeve for next week. All right. Thank you all for joining and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.